Actually, why don't we go back down to the starting line? I can't quite tell. It looks like maybe Charleston and Texas A&M just getting underway. Charleston in black, Texas in yellow. Texas looks like pretty far in last and probably in fifth, but looks like whoever is furthest right for Texas had a pretty good start and might be launched into the one. And interesting to see everybody on port right off the bat off this start, so it must have been a pretty big left shift down there and sailing into that choppy stuff on the right side of this race course.
Yeah, now that Texas boat tacking back, they didn't quite have all the boats.
They sure didn't.
They only had one.
How deceiving.
This would be, we get that camera up as high
Oh
as
my
we can.
goodness, they're not even ahead of that guy.
Goodness
gracious.
This is why I keep telling you.
I should just stop
talking.
talking.
It's hard to see that far away and judge depth.
Well, then it certainly looks like those Charleston guys have it rolling here in some decent breeze, looking to extend, and this will finish off their gold round.
Well, that's got to feel good after that last one against Georgetown, where they were kind of in the similar situation as Texas A&M here, not even really a chance off the starting line. So this is a good way to finish that up. So that leaves only 2 more races left to come. Brown and Washington, and then Georgetown and Stanford. So College of Charleston had a record of 8-4. And they're going to add another win here, it looks like, barring any kind of disaster. So that will probably keep them in 5th place as we move on to the championship round. That championship round coming in just a little while here. We imagine after this round, everyone will come in so that the new rotation sheets can be printed. Teams will get a chance to take a breather and talk to their coaches and then head back out. At that point, we'll be taking just a short break so we can do the same. But the wind has come back up. That lull in the day that we had talked about in the forecast came early, and it seems like it's really steadily picking up. It's supposed to be breezy tonight, I hear, so hopefully that will continue to funnel into this cove throughout the afternoon. So you see the light blue and light pink boats coming in. That was the BC race that just finished. Boston College taking the win over Wisco. They're coming back into shore. Charleston leading Texas A&M Galveston around Mark 2. Sailing for Texas A&M Galveston, it's Colin Weston and Brittany Crawford, Ben Kennedy and Rachel McMahon, Nick Chong and Sarah Stafford, Michael Sager and Ryan Murphy are sitting on the bench. And of course, Zeke has told you all about those Charleston Cougars, the team that he was a part of just last year when they won their national championship in Austin, Texas. Well, we apologize for the lack of eventfulness of this part of the broadcast. That, as we've been mentioning, the rotations have really slowed down. My hope, my personal hope, is that after the break, we'll be able to move the course closer and keep racing moving just a little bit faster. But right now, just that one race on the course is Texas A&M Galveston trails Charleston off the line. Charleston only with a 1-2. Texas A&M Galveston does have that one boat that's pushing forward, trying to catch that lead pair, but they're all alone with the deep, deep 5-6. And kind of no matter what happens, they're They're going to have a tough time clawing their way out of that. Well, anyway, it looks like we do have another race beginning. Coming off the line here, it's the Brown Bears in blue and the Washington Huskies in red, race number 90. So, of course, this matters a lot for Brown. They need to finish this with a win to keep up with Yale and try to put some more gap on Stanford and Roger. But we are going to keep checking in and confirming, making sure that all these results are official.
And how about
Down
Roger
to 8
Williams?
spots.
Quite a day today, or really starting yesterday, beating Charleston last night, beating Georgetown this morning, beating Texas A&M, beating Navy. They're really on a hot streak here, and they've sailed their way into the 4th position at the moment.
I should correct myself. Brian Clancy is a third-year coach at Cornell. Still impressive.
Did he just text you that?
He did, yeah. He watches everything that I do.
Well, Wisconsin's throwing frisbees at us. Always in danger here in the Chris Love Productions broadcast booth.
Do you think this would be a cakewalk?
I didn't think I'd be hit with a frisbee. How's it look for Brown?
It looks good. Brown's got 3 pairs. It's hard to tell from this angle what the position of these boats are, but I would say that they're winning all 3 of their pairs.
It looks like the breeze is pretty decent out there at the moment.
It does. I'm still confident we might get an
Look at this!
afternoon
Look at this
thermal.
flag on the pier right here, blowing like the opposite direction of where it's supposed to be blowing.
We might be able to see that from our wide shot. I'm not sure, but yeah, out on the pier, you can barely see it on the right side of the screen, blowing completely the other way of where the breeze is coming from.
Never a
out
dull
there.
moment in the Magnuson Resort in Marina Cove.
We'll keep our eye on the wind as we transition from this preliminary round to the championship round.
And I would also say that based on a sailboat anchored out in front of us that you all can't see, that the current has begun to switch. I think we're at a high tide or just past high tide, and it'll start going out. So maybe we'll see some current lines starting to move across the race course and change conditions up a little bit.
Well, around the
And it'll
top
start
mark.
to smell.
Ugh, I can't wait. Around the top mark, Brown's got the 1-2. Looks like a 1-2-4.
Stable combination for the Bears.
Yeah, that's got to feel good for them.
Bears being led by senior skipper Colin Smith from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He's gonna start. He's gonna be an accountant. He's going to CPA school, and I wouldn't trust him with my money or really anything. But nice kid.
One more race left in this round, and that's a big one. Georgetown and Stanford, as we talked about. That's coming up shortly. Thanks, Teresa, for the kind words online. Thanks to everybody who's been tuning in. I know it's a holiday weekend, and at least down here we've got some beautiful weather. I do hope everyone's getting out and enjoying it, but take your mobile devices with you. Tune in to Team Race Nationals. This is a big moment. And if you're online in front of the computer today, we'd really appreciate it if you could tell your friends as well. We'd love to get lots of viewers tuning in. Love to hear from you in the chat room as we wrap up the preliminary round and get ready for championship racing. Well, as Brown continues to lead this race and we wait for the next one, I think we got a guest here in the broadcast booth.
Hey Chris, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, doing well. Trying to keep cool out here in the shade of your tent.
It's good to have you. So Zeke wrote me a little note. It says, talk to Jeff about crewing as alternative all your life. As an alternate all your life wood winner.
It's great, Chris. You know, I think, to be honest, the heavies have the easiest job in college sailing. You only get to go sailing when it's really fun and windy, and you know that in the winter season or the early spring that you only have to pack your dry suit when you go on the road. And if it's icy and snowing out, there's a good chance you're staying in the van until it's breezy enough to go out sailing. So I think we have it pretty good. Of course, there are long, hot days like down here in St. Pete, but we managed to have a good amount of fun, and Charleston has a great squad of heavies, so it's been a fun 4 years going on the road as a heavy.
We can turn back to the racing and keep Jeff on the mic here as well. It looks like we're getting ready for Georgetown and Stanford, who are just coming off the line. Meanwhile, Brown continues to lead UW. So off the line here, looks like Georgetown, they're in the green boats. Looks like possibly the one. Boy, Jeff, I don't know. What do you make of this vantage point? It's hard to tell when they're spread out who's winning. What do you see?
It's a gamble. It's hard to say how much leverage that boat in the front right corner will have coming back once they get onto starboard. Looking a slight advantage for green possibly, just as orange does a number of tacks, but we'll have to see some crosses first before we can make a clear decision on that.
I'd say the one thing we can be sure of is that Georgetown is in the 6th. That boat 14 looks like to windward and behind boat 9. Oh boy, look at boat 12 on the far side getting hung out to dry. They're not going anywhere.
I would agree there. I'd say it's Stanford making a good charge at a play 2 coming up the first beat of this race.
Yeah, now with that light wind on the right side, this is surely a 2-3-4 off the line. And so key to adapt as the wind changes right off the starting line. So Jeff, we wanted to talk more about your experience as a crew. It's great that you have that outlook that it's the easiest job, but it takes a great deal of patience to sit here for several days and stay ready to sail. What do you do with your team and with all the onshore activities?
It's good. We have Sperry here. They've got a cornhole tent set up, so we've played a good amount of that. A little shuffleboard over at the Magnuson Hotel. Good bit of swimming. We've fired up a grill actually out the back of our tent, so we're prepping up some steak sandwiches for our cougars as they come off the water. So I think we're leading the fleet in food preparation right now. I think we have the best snacks and snackticians of the college crews. So,
well, we'll be the judge of that after the prelims. Take a look at this mark trap.
Give me some steak.
Hey,
I'm
thanks.
Come back.
Thanks for joining us. Zeke, take a look at this mark trap by Stanford. They just turned a 1-3 into a 1-2.
Jeff broke my headset. There we go. Fixed it.
Well, boat 12 from Georgetown got completely hung out to dry on the right side. But
do they have the 1?
No. Stanford had the 1-3. They just converted to a 1-2 around mark 1, and now it's a 1-2-4 for Stanford.
Tough break for Georgetown.
So, as we mentioned,
And Stanford, again, doing a nice job slowing up there as that last boat, gapping it out, making life easy on the 1-2. And they're so fast they don't really need the help, though, do they?
No, they do not. Interesting article came out this week in Sailing Scuttlebutt. I don't know if you saw that. SailingScuttlebutt.com ran an article about Stanford, interview with John Vandemore. Definitely one of the most unique programs in the country. They're all alone out there on the West Coast. The only real elite level competition they can get is a 5-hour, 6-hour flight away. And so he said in the article, he says that they pride themselves on just building the most competitive practice that they possibly can, racing against each other. The only way to do that is to have a super deep team, 6 skippers, 6 crews, and plus more, who are capable of giving each other enough practice to come to an event like this ready to sail. But they sure have showed us the past couple days that they are ready.
Yeah, definitely one of the deepest teams in the country and one of the best coached teams in the country as well. John and Clinton out there.
Well, you notice in the foreground we have boats headed back out on the water. It looks like they're wasting no time.
Well, actually, I was just asked by some Yale people if BC and Navy are doing a sail-off. I'm not sure if that is accurate or not, but they were going back out immediately. And I believe black and yellow boats. And I wonder if they're tied on wins for that last spot. And scores aren't really updated on TechScore for us, and we haven't been notified of a sail-off.
Right, we talked about this
You would think it wouldn't be necessary
We
because
talked
it would
about
be a
this
tie
earlier,
break.
but I could be completely wrong. Yeah, the way I saw it was that Navy had beaten both BC and Hobart. You know what? I'm gonna have to go find out some more information because we're kind of living in a bubble, just as you viewers are at home. I know everybody's kind of wondering what the deal is here, so I'm gonna go investigate.
Maybe Paul goes and investigates, figures out just what's going on here.
Okay.
Paul is our USF contact here, and he's gonna go get it done for us. Run like the wind, Paul. But yeah, typically you don't see a sail off in just a one, unless maybe they're having a resale. Potentially something happened. An umpire determined a resale was necessary. Seems unlikely, but
Yeah, I'm still working this out in my head.
meanwhile, it looks like Stanford's holding on to a lead against Georgetown. Stanford comes around Mark 4 with a 1-2, and you see they've committed their third boat to grabbing that ace. Sailed all the way back to 5th to put a little gap in. Doing a nice job, doing it by the book.
Not only is there a sail-off, Hobart Williams Smith's rotating in after these two go against each other, because they're also tied with them.
So the word is apparently there's going to be a 3-team sail-off between Boston College, Navy, and Hobart Williams Smith. So I guess Hobart is going to be going into these boats after the sail-off between Navy and Boston College. I'm not really sure how that could go, but that came from Danielle Richards, who's our ICSA contact here at the Wood Nationals. Is it possible that each team beat each team?
Well, I'm investigating that as well. It was my interpretation, and my face will be red here if I've got this wrong. It was my interpretation that the head-to-head came first. Aha, here it is. I'm getting additional information from Adam Werblow, and I was in fact wrong. If the teams have met more than once, that is to say, if one team has beaten the other team twice, or 2 out of 3 times, then that becomes the tiebreaker. If they've only met once and time permits, sail-off is the first tiebreaker.
I'll be darned.
So despite the fact that Navy beat both Hobart and BC, that does not put them ahead. I suspect if there wasn't time for a sail-off, if it was pressing and we need to get into the next round, then that would be the tiebreaker. But because we have time, we're only here on day 2, that single matchup between them doesn't count toward the tiebreaker. So good information there coming from both Paul Perry from USF and Adam Werblow, who I believe is on the championship committee for ICSA.
So that'll be for the last. So 2 of those teams will get in, correct? 2 of those 3 teams. It'll be a tiebreaker for who sits out, not who makes it in, if I'm correct.
I think you're incorrect, because I think only 8 teams make it in, and it's a 3-way tie for 8th.
Well, more accurate information coming from your Chris Love Productions broadcast booth. My bad.
That's okay. But what that means is that we're going to have all 3 teams sail each other right now. So the prelims are not over just yet.
Anyway, how about that Stanford-Georgetown race? How's
How
that
about
look?
that race? I don't know. Hopefully the viewers have been paying attention while we've been scrambling to find out tiebreaker info.
Looking like pretty solid for Stanford. Oh, boy. Spoke too soon, perhaps.
Oh, it's getting light out there. Look at that mast rocking back and forth. They better be careful. The umpires are going to be looking for Rule 42 violations in this light stuff. As we come up to the finish, let's Let's just see a little more to
Boat
the
on
left.
the right for Stanford. It's got plenty of breeze and looks like a penalty being taken by Georgetown. So
Yeah, as we look upwind there, Georgetown spinning again.
and Stanford getting the
And
win.
Stanford taking the 1-2. So Stanford finishes off the preliminary round 10-3, and that's going to be a solid third place standing going into the championship round. So to review everything that we've learned in the last 5 minutes, at the end of the preliminary round, at least regulation preliminary round, we've got Yale in first with only a single loss to Brown yesterday. Brown in second, 10-2. Stanford in third, 10-3. Roger Williams and St. Mary's tied for fourth at 9-4. College of Charleston is in sixth. They are also 9-4. So, excuse me, that's a three-way tie. I'm looking at outdated results. Three-way tie for fourth, including College of Charleston. Georgetown is in seventh. They finish 7-6. And the 8th place spot still up for grabs. We have a three-way tie between Hobart, Navy, and BC. So far, Navy has beaten both of these teams, but they've only met one time, and so it doesn't count as a tiebreaker. The only way to break this tie is to sail it off, and that means we're going to have 3 races coming up as these teams face each other again.